I'm Shawn Tumbokon-Flowers.
And I'm Dylan Manning.
And this is the KY Bee Report. Last time I was with you, we, for this little mini-series on beekeeping here in Kentucky, we went to the KY State Fair. It was really fun. We talked to a few booths for the Kentucky Beekeepers Association and also Honey Bear Farms. Had a great interview with the president of the Kentucky Beekeepers Association. This time we talked to Joel, who's the bee guy there at Honey Bear Farms. Honey Bear Farms, which is a bee farm that aims to increase the interest for the community in the preservation of bees. It was really fun. We wanted to go out to Honey Bear Farms, one of their depots, and go, check out what it's all about. And so I invited Dylan. Dylan invited
Finally.
herself out to go check out this bee farm and see what it's all about.
So we had the honor of visiting Honey Bear Farms on one of their Food Truck Fridays. Food Truck Fridays were basically an event that were being hosted every week where community members were allowed to come in and just hang out. They would have activities, they would have food, there was a fire pit. It's not currently running because it's in the winter months and it's cold and they've got Christmas stuff going on and all that. But they are hoping to reinstate it in the spring. You'll hear more about that later. But we had a great time at Food Truck Friday.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, the greatest thing about Food Truck Friday, its greatest draw, is that there are tons of interesting people to talk to.
Interesting people like Joel, who... a great conversation we had with him, good interview, and we're going to be playing that really soon. But before that, we had to check out all Food Truck Friday had to offer, and you're already laughing because you know what's coming up next.
We painted pumpkins.
We painted pumpkins, and Dylan made us paint pumpkins.
Shawn,
Yes, Dylan?
have you ever painted a pumpkin before?
I have actually. I painted pumpkins recently. We have a nice little display of pumpkins that our family painted in front of our home for Halloween, and I think I have a very similar vision for this guy right here. I'm gonna work on.
Welcome to a good old Kentucky tradition. I'm sure you've never done this anywhere else.
No, not once.
I think you'll enjoy it.
I think I will. All right. What are you thinking of?
Okay, now this is a spoiler, and it won't turn out well.
Okay.
But I'm gonna paint a bee.
A bee.
Base, stinger.
Oh, that's very fun. Okay. I have my own kind of design that I'm gonna work on very meticulously, and it'll be a surprise.
You can't make me tell you what I'm gonna paint and then not tell me.
It'll be a surprise. Don't worry about it.
Okay, fine. I'm gonna try not to use too much of your black, because you said it's the only thing you need.
Yes. Again.
But I am gonna have to use some of it, because I am painting a bee.
You're probably gonna need a lot of it. You're painting a bee. So, I accept that.
I will try to make it yellow with black stripes. I don't know how accurate that is to a bee.
We can ask Joel later.
We'll ask Joel later.
How accurate, we can show it to Joel, and that'll be so fun.
Can I get a clue about your design?
It's very simple, but I think it's very fun.
Is it just a smiley face?
No? No?
Alright, whatever you say.
It's a very gentle hand, pumpkin painting.
Yeah, you can't be rough with your pumpkin. You just need to, it's very calming, I feel like, right?
It is very calming. So we're here today at Honey Bear Farms, and we're doing a fun little event that's called Food Truck Friday, right?
Mm-hmm. Behind us, behind the camera, there are some food trucks. There are 2 food trucks today. They've got Boss Hogs Barbecue and All Tied Up.
Yeah. We have not gotten some food yet, but we are very excited to.
And we will be sure to tell you
all about it. But today we have an interview with Joel lined up, which I'm really excited for.
Oh God.
Oh no.
I'm trying to figure out how to hold it so that I can paint the other side, but...
Oh, this is such an experience. Watching you do this.
It's definitely an experience to do it, so...
Do you have any fun bee stories?
I don't have too many, but
Okay.
I typically avoid bees, so I'm really stepping outside of my comfort zone by being here.
Mhm.
I like bees, in theory. They also terrify me.
Okay. You like them in theory, but not in practice.
Exactly. But, you know, being here, I'm willing to step outside my comfort zone for the sake of the bees. But, so like I said, I'm afraid of bees. I've never been stung by a bee.
You're afraid of bees.
Yes, and I would like to keep it that way, that I've never been stung by a bee, which is the main reason I'm afraid of them.
Fair enough.
But in elementary school, we went on a field trip. I don't remember where right now. I wish I did. It might have been someplace like Huber's. I don't remember. But are you done?
You know, I'm waiting for some of the paint to dry so I can do some retouches. It's a very involved process.
I just don't wait for the paint to dry and simply
Oh God.
let the mistakes happen. Anyway, like I was saying,
Checking out audio.
I was on this field trip to Huber's, and I'm gonna say Huber's. That might not be right.
Okay.
But while we were having lunch,
Don't worry, Dylan. The people at home won't fact check us. Fair.
while we were having lunch, I was with a bunch of my friends. We were all, you know, 3rd grade girls, and a bee flies up because, hey, something's happening over here.
Right.
What do you think the reaction is? Oh God, oh no. What do you think the reaction is?
Getting black paint everywhere.
When a bee flies up to a table with a bunch of 3rd grade girls?
What would that be, Dylan?
Bad.
Bad? Screaming,
yes.
I assume. A lot of that.
All of my friends were freaking out. So they like kind of screamed, they like ran away. I, however,
Intrepid you.
still afraid of bees, had more of a, as they say, a freeze response. Which simply means I didn't move. I stayed there. I was very still. I did not breathe.
Okay.
I stayed at that picnic table, just watching the bee fly around me, hoping that it was... You've seen the movie Jurassic Park.
Right.
Like the T-Rex.
Clever
Its
girl.
vision is based on movement.
Okay.
I was hoping. I don't know.
You were hoping. Something that we don't know about bees as well, and also we should ask Joel about.
But... Are you painting my pumpkin?
Yes. it was nearby.
But anyway, so I had a freeze response, and I did not move. I stayed there, and I did not move. And after my teacher caught wind of all the little girls screaming and running away from the table,
yes.
and was like, "Oh, there's a bee," and she was like, "Well, it's a bee, so there's nothing I can do about that."
Right.
But she did come over once the bee was gone and was like, "Oh, look at how well Dylan is doing, guys. Because you don't want to scream and run away from a bee; it'll just make it mad.
Right.
What you should do is you should just
Be
stay cool, not scream and run, just like stay still, like Dylan did here." And I was like, "Cool, I'm being praised. I love that."
Right.
It was not a choice,
No.
and this is a secret that this is the first time I've ever shared that this was not a choice. That I did not use my extreme bee know-how. I was just stuck.
So, if you're Dylan's, what, like...
3rd grade,
grade,
like assistant teacher.
then now you know Dylan's dark secret. That praise was for naught. And Dylan is actually a coward.
Sorry.
Well, I'm currently working on finishing touches, really. Again, a very simple but involved design process. This is. So, but you know, it takes an artist's touch. You know. Yeah.
Not just anyone can do this.
No, God, no. A robot couldn't do this. It has to be an artist like me. Unless you're a robot that does art. And
Unless you're a robot artist. We believe in all kinds of art here.
Yes. And also, please don't destroy me.
So, are you finished with your little pumpkin there?
Maybe.
May I see him?
We should do our reveals at the same time, I think.
Okay, well, I'm not done yet. Nearly. I still have to paint so much of this bee.
Yeah, no, it's a real bee experience right now.
I figure I'm going to do a light layer on the yellow because it's already an orange pumpkin.
Right.
And bees aren't orange, but I'm going to give it a kind of yellow tint.
Okay.
Because orange is similar enough to yellow. And I didn't get, like, a lot of yellow, and these are, you know.
These are pumpkins.
Yeah, these are pumpkins. It's pumpkin art. It's not going in the Louvre. Yet.
Yeah. I'm actually petitioning for my pumpkin art Louvre exhibit. Do they do exhibits in the Louvre? Louvre?
I mean, I assume so.
Probably.
You know, isn't there like some statistic that's like, if you go to the Louvre to see all of it, because it's a big building, it would take you like 3 days to see all of it.
Really?
I feel like I've read that somewhere. It feels fake though, and also seems like a coward's mindset because I can speedrun museums with the best of them.
Of course. Do you want me to help you paint that?
If you want to, yes.
Okay. Hi,
Shawn.
Dylan.
Shawn.
Dylan. You're done with your pumpkin.
I'm done with my pumpkin.
I'm done with my pumpkin.
You're done with your pumpkin.
Yes.
Are you ready to show your boy to the world?
Yes.
All right. 3,
2.
1. He's just a little guy.
He's just a little guy, for sure. Kind of my artistic focuses for this one are little guy, has no brain.
No thoughts. Head empty.
Yeah, head empty, gourd empty. Just a little guy.
That's a hollow pumpkin.
It's
I don't know how you did that. Without carving it?
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just good like that. It's really the artistic. When the brush strokes hit the paint, it really kind of brings out the hollowness of it.
So I really followed through on my vision of a bee, as you can see. He's empty, but that's okay.
You know what, Dylan?
And here's his little stinger.
Hold up, wait. I know exactly what can fill that hole of that head, and it's
a full boy.
A full boy. One beautiful bee together.
For the two of us.
For the two of us. Man, this is so dumb. Let's go.
Okay, but we've now pumpkin painted. You've experienced in a rich tradition.
Yes.
Pumpkin painting.
Yes.
Which you had definitely done before, but only here in Kentucky.
Yes. Obviously.
I think we've done this. Yes. So I think that we should keep exploring the Food Truck Friday.
All right, here we go.
As you just saw, we got to paint our pumpkins. We had a great time. It was super fun.
It was okay.
It was a great time. It was super fun. But rest assured, it was not the only activity we did there, because that would have been a waste. We also got to look at their balloon animals and their face painting.
Dylan won't let me get my face painted.
We had an interview later that night, and it was unprofessional. So
I wanted to get like a little butterfly, maybe a bee.
If you had said the bee, maybe I would have let you do it, but like, what would you have said to Joel?
Hi, Joel, this is my bee.
I think you already said that about your pumpkin.
You know what? We'll see that in just a second.
Anyway, we did get to spend some time there, and of course, but the activity we're all looking forward to, I'm sure, for this Food Truck Friday, is the food. Of course we got food, and of course we'll tell you about it. So we got some Thai, there's 2 food trucks, a Thai food truck, and some, like barbecue, and we went to the barbecue truck, picked up some pork nachos for me, ribs for Dylan. Well, actually, I guess it was pork nachos and ribs for Dylan, because you offered the nachos. It's not stealing if you offer. You know, regardless, we had some great time, had some great food. I plunged my entire arm into an ice-cold water cooler to get a soda. He did do that. I also did that, but I did not get a soda, and I stuck my hand in there for a lot less time because it was so cold that night. It was dead of night. It was really cold. The good news is they have a fire pit. Which warmed me up nicely. We sat by it, had some great food, and we saw Joel. Talked to him, went up to him. He's real approachable, and we got this interview that's coming up soon, but we had some issues coming in. We lost a lot of the footage that we recorded of that interview. We still have all the audio, so of course we're still going to play it. You'll still get to hear all of it, but we did have to, we don't get to show you all of what was happening. So instead, we'll show you some pictures of some of the stuff we had there. It'll still be great, but we are sorry about the loss of the video.
Yeah, but that's coming next. So let's play. Hi, Joel.
Hey guys.
We got Joel here. Hello, everyone. For our little interview that we were talking about. We've been excited for this all night. So.
Wonderful.
You're the big
I
guy.
saw you guys walk up, and I'm like, okay, is that the journalist? Yeah, if it is, they'll come approach me.
Yeah,
So like,
we did a lot of things over here. It was really fun. We're really glad we got to make it up here.
So this is week 27 of 28
Ooh,
of
so
our
we made it
consecutive weeks of
right
our
at the
Food
end.
Truck Fridays. Yeah. So this is our tree lot where we sell Christmas trees,
Okay.
and we got ready to tear it down after New Year's,
Right.
and we said, wait a second. Maybe there's some way we can repurpose this whole thing. And so we came up with the idea of having food trucks.
Okay.
And so they started up in May and they end next week.
All right.
And then we get ready for Christmas trees again.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then after we sell our Christmas trees, hopefully we'll sell them really quick. Last year we sold out on the Thanksgiving weekend.
Oh,
Wow.
That
Yeah.
is quick.
Yeah, so hopefully we'll sell out in a week or two. Then we're going to build a snow maze.
Oh, that would be really fun.
So this is going to be a snow maze, all winter long. And so the kids are going to run through here, and it's going to be a lot of fun.
And us.
And us.
That's right. And you.
Who doesn't love a good snow maze?
That's right. So everything we do here at the Honey Depot is trying to promote bees and beekeeping and save the bees. Different ways to do that, just by creating awareness in the public and trying to sell some honey. So we try to come up with events that'll bring families here primarily, and that way the children and the adults themselves can get education on bees. Sometimes it's direct education. We have seminars, we teach classes, we host bee school, we do all that. But it's also indirect too. And normally I have my bee guy shirt on, and people can walk up to me and they say, well, what's this about the bees? Where have our bees gone? Why are they so important? And so it gives me an inroad to start talking about bees and how they're important, and we do need to save them.
Well, tell me about that. Tell me about bees are very important, right? I mean, we're environmental journalists, so we know all about that, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's totally cool.
So tell me about why bees are really important and why we need to save them.
Well, the main thing is because they're the number one pollinator in the world.
Right.
As a hive, they're the number one pollinator. 1 out of every 3 bites of food that we eat requires pollination of some sort. And so if you take away the food, if there's no pollinators, you take away the honeybee, then approximately 1/3 of our food supply goes away in about 6 months.
Wow.
And so in about 6 months, the planet, both humans and animals, are relying on only 2/3 of our total food supply.
Yeah.
And then Einstein has done the algorithm, the math to figure out in about 6 years we run out of food. So without the honeybees, we have 6 years of food. So
I plan to live a little bit longer than that, right? So
that's right.
I'd hope so.
That's right. So they're really important. And
absolutely.
How old is your audience normally?
We get a good mix of people that are like from our school, like up until about their parents' age. So.
Yeah.
Okay. Well, sometimes I cuss to emphasize how important they are. I didn't want to cuss if there's any children. So, but no, they're really important. And that's part of what we're doing, is trying to just let people know. That they're very important. We need to save the honeybees anytime we can.
Absolutely. Well, tell me a bit more about Honey Bear Farms as a place.
Yeah. So Honey Bear Farms is our company, and then the Honey Depot, which is here, is our farm store. We have the partner with Active Heroes. We give seminars over there and help partner with them for the veterans. We just had another veterans group contact me this week. Sometimes we have private companies and schools and whomever call us to come talk to them about bees. And so that's all Honey Bear Farms is, to promote the awareness of honeybees and how important they are, and of course to sell some honey. We want to sell some honey.
Naturally.
So, yeah.
Tell me about the honey, right?
Yeah, so honey is a wonderful natural product of bees. Bees make honey. That's what they do. Honey for bees is actually food. That's what they eat.
honey for me is also food. So that's a great combination.
Something
That's
we have
right.
in common with bees.
Yeah.
Honey is actually made with several ingredients, but primarily it's pollen, nectar, and water. And as those ingredients change, the flavor changes. That's why you have all different flavors of honey. Even in the same hive, from harvest to harvest, the honey will taste slightly different because it depends on what flowers or trees the bees have been collecting their forage from.
Wow.
That's really cool.
Yeah, honey also is super good for you in two specific ways. One is it's naturally occurring hydrogen peroxide. It's like an antiseptic. It kind of cleans you from the inside. So if you eat a little bit of honey every day, now this is real honey, real raw honey that has not been pasteurized. It hasn't been killed. In other words, what we call it. It is very good for you. Once honey has become pasteurized, well, then all of the good stuff is not, so all the pollen is cooked out of it. But otherwise, it has naturally occurring hydrogen peroxide, and it also is good for your immunities. If you're eating, local honey that has the same pollen that's in the air that you're breathing, then it can help over time strengthen your immune system because it's just it's the same air that you're breathing, so it helps you out in that way. So, and it tastes really, really good.
As a question, what's your honey that you have like in store?
So we have two flavors of just natural wildflower honey. So in Kentucky, we don't have any fields large enough to have what's called monofloral source honey, a single source of pollen. Like everybody knows, you've got clover honey, there's sourwood honey, tupelo honey, you can get blackberry honey, there's different flavors of honey you can buy. Mm. But by law, if you say something is a single source honey flavor, it's supposed to have 46% by analysis pollen of just that one source.
Now,
which is
just some quick math, right? Back the napkin.
That's right. It requires 6,000 acres of the same flower to do that. So the only way you're going to find that is in, out west where they have the huge clover fields, right? So what beekeepers do is, let's say you have a blackberry field. Like say this field over here is blackberries.
Right.
And if you harvest your honey literally within 2 or 3 days of when the blooms stop, you probably do have blackberry honey. Okay. But because bees fly 2 miles, okay, if you did an analysis, you probably only had maybe 8 or 9% pollen, that's blackberry. So what you do is you should say you have a majority of pollen is blackberry, right, or comes from blackberries. But most beekeepers just don't do that. They just say it's blackberry honey. So what we have here is truly wildflower honey. In Kentucky, we have wildflower honey. But then we have different flavors that we infuse. We have our bourbon honey, which is awesome. And that's actually aged in a bourbon barrel, and then, and so that's really good. And then we have our bee venom honey, which is spicy bourbon honey. That's really good. Our coffee depot is going to have bee venom lattes.
Ooh.
That's really, really good. And then we have like lavender honey and then apple spice honey and apple pie. And for Christmas, we'll have Santa honey and elf honey. Elf honey has
I hope you're not
peppermint.
confusing that with Santa and elves.
No. Peppermint, vanilla, and cinnamon is way over the top, just like Will Ferrell. And that's called our elf honey. It's really good.
That sounds...
I might have to come down and try some of that.
We're going to come back here at some point, yeah. I'll tell you what.
It's really good. It's really good. And we'll introduce that over Thanksgiving. Yeah.
All right.
Just going to make a note of that.
That right? Yeah. What's the hardest part about being a beekeeper?
So during the summer, you're wearing your bee clothes.
Yes.
And it gets pretty hot. Okay, you go in the bee yards and there's bees flying everywhere, and they've got nothing better to do. They're trying to sting you, right? Right. Because you've interrupted their life. And it gets pretty hot. It gets pretty sweaty, and you get stung, and it gets pretty tough. But it's not that hard, really. But that's probably the hardest part of it.
Is when they're just trying to get you.
Yeah, I mean, and you have to, if you got literally 1,000 little bugs trying to get through at you, and if you have one little hole, they're coming in.
That's it.
So you have to overcome that. Some people can't. Some people say they wear the suit for the first time and they say, I can't do this.
Ooh.
So
it's a true thing.
We've all seen like pictures of the traditional beekeeping suit online in movies. How much time does it take to like get in that and be ready to go out
safely?
Safely.
Less than 5 minutes. I mean, once you get used to doing it, you just pull it on, zip, 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 ready to go.
Just seems like it would be unwieldy.
No,
For me, it would
it's
take
really
like, at
not.
least 10.
Well, you gotta style it.
Yeah, that's true. I
Oh,
gotta
you
style. I
gotta
gotta put a
style
scarf
it, I
over
see.
it
Yeah.
and under it.
Yeah,
And that'll be good for the summer months when I'm just baking in there
that's right.
while bees are trying to destroy me.
So we encourage everybody to wear at least a veil over your to protect your head, because they're gonna, when you're breathing, carbon dioxide is coming out and they're attracted to that. So they're attracted to what's going on around your face.
I did not know that about bees.
Yeah,
That's a new fun
so,
fact.
That's a new fun fact.
So we encourage everybody to, at the very least, wear a veil and
Wear a
protect
veil.
your head. But most of the time, I'll just wear a jacket and then a pair of jeans, right?
Wow.
If I'm actually working in the bee yard for more than 30 minutes or so, where I'm literally getting in multiple hives,
Wow.
well then I'll go ahead and wear a suit.
Okay.
But if I'm conducting a tour or I'm just doing a quick inspection, I just wear my jacket and veil and a pair of jeans and
Call it in.
that's all.
Yeah, sounds great. I mean, Dylan, my friend here, is afraid of bees. So this new fact that apparently bees are attracted to your mouth.
It'll be great for me
it'll be
next time I
wonders
see
for
one.
There you go.
It's
Okay.
great.
I love bees in theory, not so much when they're
Right.
flying near me.
I know.
That's
I
amazing.
fully get it. I really do. We conduct tours all year long, and oftentimes, the customers are, they want to get near the hive, and that's part of it. You pull a frame and look, here's the bees. Isn't that cool?
Right.
Let's find the queen. Sometimes we can actually find her, but not everybody can accept having those bees trying to fly all around you and everything.
Right.
So they're usually only trying to get me because I'm holding the frames. But sometimes they'll fly over there too, and so they're like, whoa, what's that bee doing? So I understand.
What's your apiary like?
So we have several apiaries. The one, you can't see it, but there's a hill right there. That's where we have most of our bees.
Wow.
Yeah, we have about literally anywhere from 25 to 100 hives, depending on what's going on at different time of the year. If we're splitting, if we're combining, all
On a
that.
scale of 1 to 2 miles away,
Yeah.
how far is that hive or that apiary? I'm just wondering if we're in bee range.
Yeah, it's about a mile away.
About a mile away.
Oh,
All right,
so
so
we're
we're
in
squarely in
prime
bee
bee
range.
Oh, sure.
Oh, yeah.
Can
Yeah.
just
Yeah, and so,
Yeah, look around.
so like if we spill a jar of honey, I mean the bees are on it. They're all over.
Oof.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
So it doesn't take them very long at all. They keen sense of smell. So they
I mean, so it must be fun, like, during the day, you get bees coming around, like, hey, what's going on here? It's like, hey, hey, did we
Right.
make this? Right?
what's
Like all
this?
this honey, right?
Hey, that one look, that one kind of looks like me. Just looking at the.
At the selection, at the little pictures,
Yeah.
the bees. Very exciting. How was the pandemic for, like, Honey Farms as a whole?
We actually grew in sales because the people were staying at home and they had more time, I think, to research and then think about what they can do for the environment. And I think quite a few people said, well, why don't we keep bees? It'll be something educational for our kids, or we can make our own honey or whatever. And let's see what we can do to help the bees. And I think for that reason, we actually grew during the pandemic, so in sales-wise.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I heard a lot of people are trying to get into beekeeping, and I could never because I'm not responsible like that.
Uh-oh.
So it would go see, the thing is, like, I forget to, like, I don't know, feed them. I don't think they need to be fed, right? I mean, they do it on their own.
They do it on their own.
Right.
There are different times of the year that if you don't have a very strong hive, you might need to supplemental feed them.
Right.
And over winter, if they don't have enough honey, then you need to supplemental feed them over the winter.
That makes
But
sense.
otherwise, they take care of themselves.
Well, beekeeping is fascinating. Gotta save these bees. And thank you, Joel.
Thanks,
for
guys.
coming out.
Come back anytime.
Thanks for sitting
Come
down
to
with
our
us.
classes. Come take a tour. Come do whatever. Right. So
Right.
it'll be
Awesome.
fun.
I mean, we gotta come back, right?
I mean, we're
That's
going
it.
to. Especially, if not for anything else, for that elf honey.
For that elf honey, right?
That's right. Go do it.
You have a great day.
Thanks, guys.